All right, here we are. First episode. Welcome to Clarity and Alchemy. I'm your host, Chief Alchemist Hafeez. Let's dive right in here. So today I want to talk about alchemy. Why alchemy? Right? Like when you think about alchemy, you think about turning lead into gold, right? That's the whole story around alchemy, right? The root word alchemy comes from an Arabic word al-chemia, which means the art of transformation, right? Turning base metals into gold, right? To achieve that um, spiritual or personal transformation, right? That's what this is about, right? So, in the context of alchemy, I look at it from personal development, going through a transformational process, right? So, this is where I'm at, and this is where I want to be, and there's a gap between there, right? How do you fill up? How do you bridge those gaps? Right. The first thing is self-awareness, knowing where you're at, having acceptance of it, right? That's the most important thing. If you have a level of self-denial, if you're blaming your circumstances on external factors, you're relinquishing your control externally out there. So part of the process of alchemy, which is why I'm so, that's why I love this stuff, right? It's about power, right? Taking back your power and using your awareness to make the process to transform, right? And when I mean power, I don't mean in a sense of domination or control, right? Because the only thing we can control is how we respond to external circumstances. I can't control what this person is going to think. I can't control what they decide or how they feel. It's not up to me at all. The only thing I can control is internally within myself, what it is I can control. I can control how I respond, right? I acknowledge my feelings and my emotions and my state. And then from there, I choose to respond, not react. The moment I am reacting is when my emotions have hijacked me and influenced me to make a decision or a choice, right? You always want to be in a calm state, right? Internally, right? Never mind externally. Like everything all starts from within, right? Everything that you want to invoke within yourself that you want to experience. If you want to experience more happiness, more joy, calm, love, you feel that within yourself. And then that radiates outwardly. Right. So that's been my journey. I've been on this journey for since 2012. Um, and the journey is never ending. It's a process and it's a spiral, I find, is that when I go through parts of myself that need to be transmuted, right? When you level up, there's aspects of yourself, right? Belief systems, habits, right? That need to be looked at, to be examined, right? The things you can control are your belief systems, your attitude, your thought, your perspectives, right? How honest are you with yourself, right? Who do you hang out with, right? Who are your friends? What are they doing? Do they have the same mindset? Do they help you grow, right? What information are you consuming, right? It's not just what you eat, but also what it is that you see, what you listen to and speak. All these things is how you consume information. What books are you reading, right? Taking care of your body, working out, the type of food that you eat, right? Are you kind to other people, right? How often do you say thank you? Gratitude. That's a powerful one, right? The quickest way to change your state is through gratitude. Try it. Try to be in a state of anger or dissatisfaction while you are expressing gratitude. You can't, right? Expressing gratitude is acknowledging what it is that you have, what you already have, right? In that state of abundance, right? The more you bring awareness to that, the more that amplifies, right? When it comes to energy. So now back to alchemy, right? The root word, art of transformation, right? And there's so much literature when it comes to alchemy, right? Very long, rich history from ancient Egypt to Greece and how it's been practiced in different cultures and traditions. And, it's influenced chemistry and medicine and philosophy, right? And even the symbology around alchemy, right? From the philosopher's stone, right? Which is the gift of immortality, of wisdom, right? To the elements as well, the four elements, right? Earth, water, air, fire, right? All these elements that are incorporated. And even within these topics as well, too, there's so much to dive in with these things. So I'm definitely will create different episodes talking about these elements and how we can access these elements within us. It's these topics are, I find, very profound, and how to apply them in a way that's practical. And you'll be surprised how, sometimes life can seem to be stranger than fiction, in terms of what seems ethereal or magical, right? Even the words that we speak to ourselves, right? We're casting spells with our words. And we're not even aware of it, right? That's why it comes back down to belief systems. What are you saying to yourself, right? And it could be offhand comments that, may be a joke. It may not be serious, right? But the subconscious mind, we have our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind, if you look at an iceberg, right? The surface of the iceberg is the conscious aspect, right? And it only processes, in terms of information, 1,000 bits per second of information, right? Our brain is a computer that's processing information. Our conscious mind has a small, narrow band of awareness. That's 1,000 bits of information. Our subconscious mind, which is working behind the clock, right? I can't remember the exact number. I think it's like 4 billion bits per second, right? Like gigabytes per second, right? All the machinations of the body, of the cells, and the osmosis, and your heart pumping, and the blood, and everything, and all the sensories and everything are all handled in the background, right? So that's the iceberg, right? And whatever it is you say to yourself, your subconscious, whether it doesn't know whether it's right or wrong, it just takes it literally, which is why which is why mindset and what you think is so important. We don't realize how deep it goes, right? Now, I help conscious entrepreneurs gain clarity, right? So that literally clearing the runway so that you can create your business with full intention, with integrity, all the aspects of what it is you want to put out there, right? But we get in our own way with our own belief systems and what we think people want, and what, there's so many factors in there, but the most important thing is making sure that you're clear with yourself. And that process is alchemy. So let's talk about the alchemical process here. And each category literally deserves its own chapter, its own episode, right? So there's the classical process, and it's used in various colors, right? So the classical, which I'll talk about, but I'm going to focus on the 7 steps. That's the one I'm going to expand on, but I'll just touch upon classic alchemical process, the 4 stages, which is known as negrido, which is the blackening. Then there's the albedo, which is the whitening. Citrarinas, if I said that right, yellowing. And then rubido, which is the reddening, right? And these stages have various metaphors. Now, it's interesting that there's 4 stages there because the number 4 is connected with earth. It's connected with the elements. It's connected with the seasons, right? The medicine wheel as well, too. These colors, they're all connected. That's a whole other thing, though, right? That's the classical steps here. But what I want to talk about is the 7-step process that is mentioned in the more so the modern model of personal transformation, right? So the first step is known as calcination, right? The process of heating a substance to a high temperature, right? To burn off any impurities or extract its essential qualities, right? It's breaking down old patterns and belief systems that no longer serve you, right? So letting go of all old ideas and attachments in order to make room for new growth to change, right? That's why I say the first step is awareness. Self-awareness is the first step. You cannot be lost if you don't know where you're going. If you don't know where you're at, right? Where are you going? I don't know. I'm just going with the flow. Okay, well, you're going to be flowing and going to bouncing around places, but no direction, no intention, right? But it starts with awareness. So calcinations, that's the first step. Next one is dissolution. Now, this step, right, is the calcinated substance that's dissolved, right? It is you're dissolving that substance into a liquid, right? In order to separate and extract its components, right? So it is being able to take a step back and examine. Essentially, you're examining your beliefs, your values, your emotions in order to get a deeper level of understanding of yourself and your motivations. So that's disillusion, is taking a step back and witnessing it without the attachment, because the calcination is a breaking of that. This is not who I am. This is not me, but this is, a pattern or a belief system here. Let me examine it without any attachment. Okay. Now, the third is separation, right? Through the dissolved substance, you're separating this into components through a filtration process, right? So through this process, it's a self-discovery process, exploring different aspects of yourself, right? So aspects of yourself that may have come up from a certain situation that may have triggered you, or you reacted or you responded in a way that is like, oh, this is different. What is this aspect of myself, right? So that's the separation of that, right? Separating yourself, distinguishing yourself from different aspects of yourself in your life, right? Separating yourself from toxic relationships, whether it be negative self-talk or any habits or behaviors that are holding you back. This is separation. Now, conjunction. Now, in this stage, the purified components are combined and united in order to create a new and more integrated substance, right? So it's being able to integrate and the alignment of different aspects of yourself, which can lead to a sense of greater clarity, wholeness, and purpose, right? So you're bringing together all the different aspects of yourself into a integrated whole, right? Not piece, but whole. And it involves aligning your thoughts, your feelings, your actions with your values, your purpose, right? Bring in unity and coherence and direction in your life. So who do I want to become? Who am I embodying? What traits do I want to embody to become where it is that I need to be, to become a better, greater version of myself, right? Becoming a better version of yourself. Now, even that terminology as well, too, is also being objective with it, a better version of yourself, while also accepting where you're at as you're going through that process, right? So without any negative charge of like, oh, I'm not quite there yet, I'm not good enough. No, that's also the trap as well, too. It's being able to observe it in a way that is detached and accepting and loving as well, too. It is a conglomerate of both. Like it's like a paradox of acceptance, loving, and also the process of the journey is loving that process, right? Because the biggest aspect is love and acceptance. No disgust, right? Ideally, it may work for some people, by the way. It's not necessarily about just looking at the positives and everything is positive and beautiful and just focus on that. You got to look at the ugly stuff too, right? But are you able to handle it in a way that allows you to still move forward? Okay, 3 more. Fermentation. Now, this process, the putrefaction of the materials that are left to decompose and break down in a controlled manner, right? It's the breaking down of the old patterns and the emergence of the new potential, right? The fermentation process, allowing yourself to be transformed and changed by your experiences, right? So this could include embracing the unknown and who you are and being open to new possibilities, even if they're uncomfortable or challenging, right? That's the chasm, the unknown process of, it's after the caterpillar has been cocooned in the dark, right? That process has already started. Sixth stage is distillation, right? So the fermented substance from the previous stage is heated and distilled, right? To extract the essential qualities and refine them even further, right? So it's the refinement of one's own essence, right? Distillation of one's purpose and values, right? Focusing on what truly matters to you and letting go of the distractions, the noise that no longer serve you. And then the final stage is coagulation, right? In this final stage, right, the purified substance is solidified, right, and given a concrete form. Now, this stage can be seen as a metaphor for the manifestation of one's purpose and potential in the world, right? It's the solidification of your transformation, the embodiment, the integration, integrating it into your life. Involves taking action to manifest your purpose and values in the world and living in alignment with them. This is the way. Shout out to Mandalorian. Yeah, so these are the stages. This is the process, and these stages there is no timeline, right? You can go through this process in a day, in a short amount of time, or it could take months, it could take years. There's mini cycles, there's macro cycles, there's patterns around all this here. So this is the overall aspect of alchemy, and it's all about transformation. And these stages, you go through them, right? You go through them in a cyclical fashion. There's a lot of themes around this as well, too. There's a lot of different methods of like even the hero's journey, for example, by Joseph Campbell, right? the whole process of the hero's journey, going through that process of leaving home, right? The call to journey, to adventure, right? And then there's the mentor, and so there's all of these are all interconnected. So this stuff is really fascinating. So yeah, this is the alchemical process. And the more you become aware of this, the more you are able to be tapped into yourself so deeply and so rooted that when you go out there, no matter what happens out there, the circumstances, you're able to alchemize, alchemize it, right? Through the power of choice. So everything starts with, just to conclude, everything begins with your belief systems. Your belief systems, and then there's also your faith as well too. That's another thing as well. You can believe, but then there's also faith, which is faith to a higher power, right? A higher, whether it be the universe or God or spirit, whatever word you want to use, or the matrix or whatever it is, right? There are forces out there, right, that are working through us, right? That's a whole other topic. But belief systems within yourself, aspiration, surrendering, right? So yeah, so this is a summary of each of these 7 stages, and I will go more in depth within each of these categories, and also share, some more examples, personal examples of myself going through this process. What else? So yeah, alchemy. It's a great framework for personal development and leadership, and you can apply it into many aspects of your life, including your business as well too, right? Especially as an entrepreneur as well too, is sharing your story, right? We connect with our tribe or our audience or our students through storytelling, right? And through that, we use emotions, right? Emotions are energy in motion, right? Certain feelings that are evoked, right? And that's how we remember, right? When we connect with people, it's the impression that we leave. We impress upon an energetic frequency, whether it be something negative or something positive, right? We want it to be positive, right? They'll remember that state that you impressed upon them, right? So through stories, what's your story? We have many stories, right? Many ways to express the stories. It can be through movement, through visual, through sound, right? Kinesthetic, many ways to express your story. So all this is all stories, and being comfortable to share those stories with others, right? Especially the stories that you hold back on, right? It's the pain, the struggles, right? Those stories, those vulnerable stories, right? That you feel comfortable, you feel ready to share, you feel safe to share that, right? Because by you sharing your story, you inspire, you create a level of remembrance, right? For the person you're sharing the story with, for the group, right? This remembrance will help them to be like, oh, yes, that's right. Or some level, whatever emotion it is that you want to induce, whatever transmission it is you want to share. It's all through storytelling. So knowing your story and what it is that you want to create, right? Your business, your brand, right? And what is a brand, right? There's many definitions of a brand, right? It's that emotional, intangible um, feeling that people get, how they feel about the brand. It's the vibes, it's the energy, it's the, what is, that's an aspect of brand, right? That's what people feel, the substance feeling, right? And then you got the logos, you got the slogan, which are all symbols as well too, that go with that to help invoke that emotion, right? Whatever emotion that it is that you want to bring in. What is it that you want to create, right? You want to create more trust. You want to create a level of authority. You want to create inspiration, or so all these aspects, right? These qualities that you want to infuse within what it is you want to create, right? We're creators, right? We're constantly creating many times over. We create in our minds, right? And there's a whole process through the energetic system of chakras even. And I'll talk about that at a later time, going through the chakra systems of how we create and how we take inspiration in, right? Because our brain is an antenna and a receiver of information. The brain downloads information, downloads consciousness. It comes from somewhere. And this has been measured before. There's experiments that have been done. Anyways, I'm digressing on this here, but it comes back down to stories, right? Who are you? What I mean by who are you is your innate self, your being. Oftentimes we define ourselves by what it is that we do. My name's Hafeez. I'm an alchemist. I'm a creator. I'm a teacher, right? These are aspects that I do to describe myself, but is that who I really am? Right? That's deep. But the deeper that you're willing to go within yourself, right, you're able to create those connections and really be there as a leader to serve in the deepest way, to know thyself. All right. So there's so much more to dive into this series. I'm pretty excited. I got a lot of stuff for you guys. So yeah, reflect upon this, right? Even the 7 steps. Reflect upon the 7 steps. What stage are you in as well too? Maybe there's something that you're going through that you're processing. Maybe there's one of those stages that resonate with you at this time, right? And the best part is awareness. Now that you know about these stages, right? There's a pathway that you can follow, right? There's steps that you can follow within it, and how that is expressed and explored is up to you. There is no right or wrong way, right? If you need to skip a step or whatever it is, it's all you. You are the creator, right? You're the artist, you're the canvas, you're the director, the producer, the actor. You are all of that. You are powerful. You're infinitely powerful. You have a gift. You're unique. There'll never be a person exactly like you. Your DNA structure is unique to you. It is your own unique fingerprint. You have your own unique vibrational tone that only you can play. And you have that choice to play that musical note. How you express it is up to you. You're powerful. How often do you remind yourself about that? Look in the mirror and tell yourself that I'm powerful. Just you, without comparing yourself to other people and what they're doing and what stage that they're at. They're at their own journey. It's about you. Don't compare yourself. Comparison is the thief of joy. It's disingenuous. You're taking away your own power. For what? So this is the work. All right. So with that, if you have any questions, any comments, any revelations, shoot me a message. All right. Peace.